Hello friends, we are going to see design of socket and spigot quarter joint. As we know, this socket and spigot quarter joint is having three components. Socket is having three components: socket, spigot, and quarter. The portion which is shown by a pink line, pink hatch lines, this is a socket, while the portion which is shown by the green hatching line, this is the spigot, and the quarter, this is the quarter, right? So this quarter is inserted in a slot which is present in a spigot as well as a socket. Socket and the spigot is connected to the shaft, is connected to the shafts, two shafts which are having a diameter d. While as we know, the socket and spigot quarter joint generally carries the axial load. So this may be a tensile load or this may be a compressive load. Here the load P is acted. We are saying load P is acted on this socket and spigot quarter joint. Now whatever this socket and spigot quarter joint is there, that we are going to design for the tensile load. Why tensile load and why not compressive load? Because most of the time whatever this socket and spigot quarter joint is being fabricated, this is fabricated from the component, from the material which is stronger in a compression than in tension, and that's why most of the time this particular socket and spigot quarter joint is designed for carrying the safe tensile loads. Okay, so let us now start. Whenever we say that we are going to design this particular component, what we have to generally do, we have to generally decide what are the various dimensions of that particular component so that it should not fail during working. Now let us start with this. Now what we are going to see, let P is the load carried by the rod. So P, this is the axial load, or we are here assuming this is the tensile load which is acted on both the shafts. D is the diameter of the rod. You can see this is the diameter of rod D. So both the rods which are connected to each other through the socket and the spigot joint, these both rods we are assuming this is having a diameter D. While D1 is the outer diameter of the socket. What is this D1? If you look at this particular socket, so this is the outer diameter. D1 is the outer diameter of the socket. Okay, while d2 is the diameter of the spigot or inner diameter of the socket. D2 is the diameter of the spigot. You can see over here, D2 is the diameter of the spigot, or it is inner diameter of the socket. Okay, this is same. Then D3 is outer diameter of the spigot collar. D3, this D3, what is D3 is, this is D3 is the outer diameter of the spigot collar. This spigot is having a collar so that its maximum insertion can be restricted into the socket. So though obviously this collar will have a larger diameter than the spigot itself, and this D3 is nothing but outside diameter of the spigot collar. While T1 is the thickness of the spigot collar. Now whatever this spigot collar is there, this spigot collar is having a thickness T1. This spigot collar is having a thickness T1, right? Now D4, diameter of the socket collar. D4 is the diameter of the socket collar. So socket is also having a collar, and D4 is the diameter of that socket, that collar, socket collar. While C is the thickness of the socket collar. So whatever the thickness socket collar is having, that we are saying it by indicating by the letter C. This is the thickness of the socket collar, right? Now what is B? B we are considering as a mean width of the quarter. As we know, this quarter is going to have a one side tapered. So obviously dimensions or the width of the quarter is going to change from top to bottom, but B we are considering a mean width of this quarter, while T is the thickness of the quarter. As we see over here, if we look at the side view, so here T is the thickness of the quarter. So quarter is actually having a two dimension, as it is a rectangular section B and T, and obviously length L, length of the quarter. So this is the L, length of the quarter. While A is the distance from end of the slot to the end of the rod. A is the distance from the end of the slot to the end of the rod for the spigot. If you look at this, you can see this is A. It is nothing but it is the distance from the end of the slot, from where the slot ends, to the end of the rod where the spigot rod ends. That is the distance A. While these are the various dimension of the spigot, then the socket and the quarter, we are going to make this with the help of some material. We are going to use some material. So whatever the material we are going to use, for that whatever the permissible tensile stresses are there, that are we are calling at a sigma T, that is permissible tensile stress for the rod material, sigma C, that is permissible crushing stresses, and the tau, these are the permissible shear stresses, right? So these are various things which we nomenclature which we have made for indicating the dimensions. Now whenever we are going to design this particular socket and the socket and the spigot quarter joint, actually we have to find out what will be the safer dimensions of this particular socket, spigot and quarter to withstand the given loading conditions. Okay, so then obviously when we say we are going to design, so we must know in what condition this particular component is going to fail, or whether it is going to fail in shear, whether it is going to fail in tension or compression or in crushing because of the crushing stresses, that we are going to find out. So one by one we are going to design. First of all, we are going to see design of the spigot. First we will start designing the spigot, and first of all we will find out what will be the safest dimension, what will be the safest dimension for the what will be the safest dimension for a rod which we are going to connect. So first of all, if we look at this particular diagram, this is the assembly of the socket and the spigot joint, and here, as we know, the tensile force, or we can say a tension is being applied. So this rod may fail because of the tension. So first failure which we are going to consider, that failure is nothing but failure of rod in tension. Okay, so failure of rod in tension, what it means that whenever we are going to pull or apply some forces, this tensile forces, when we are going to apply the tensile forces, because of that this rod may fail, and the area resisting this is nothing but the area which is shown by the red. Actually whenever we design this type of component, what we have to consider, simple, as we know the stress is equal to force upon cross sectional area. So we have to find out what is the cross sectional area which is resisting the which is resisting the failure. So here resisting area. So what is the resisting area that we are going to find? Resisting area, because whenever from both the end, when this particular socket and spigot joint will be pulled, it may fail, and the resisting area is nothing but the area shown by the red. And what is the diameter which we are assuming for the rod? This is nothing but d. So resisting area A is equal to, we know, pi by 4 d square. As we know that is we are considering the failure in tension, that is a permissible tensile stress, that is sigma t is equal to force applied divided by cross sectional area. So I can say, I can write this equation, A is equal to P divided by sigma t, right, where P is the force applied and A is the cross sectional area, while A is the cross sectional area is nothing but pi by 4 d square. This is the resisting area which is resisting the failure because of tension of the rod, and pi by 4 d square is equal to P by sigma t. If I call this particular equation as equation 1, okay, so what this equation can give us? This equation can give us the value of d, because what is known over here, we know P. It is given in the problem that this much force is being applied on the joint. Sigma t. This we will come to know when we decide what type of material we are going to use. So permissible tensile stress value will be known. So obviously from this we can determine the value of t, that is diameter of the rod. So from this equation we can determine value of d. What this value of d is? That is, value of d is nothing but it is the diameter of rod. Diameter of rod, or you can say a shaft. Both the shafts which are connected to each other, that rod. So this diameter d, whatever the value we are going to get, might be possible during the calculations, and this value may be in some decimal points. So generally that is being rounded off to nearest integer value. So this can be rounded off. So here we are finding that this should be the diameter of the rod, so that it should withstand the tensile forces, or we can say tensile or the compressive forces, right? So in this way, first dimension we find out, that is the diameter d, diameter d of the rod. Okay, so now we will move further, and we are going to see, is it only that rod may fail? No. Now we are going to see failure of the spigot in tension across the weakest section, that is the slot. Now if we consider the spigot, what this spigot is having, this is a spigot, you can see, and this spigot may fail if the force P is applied. Force P is applied, this spigot may fail at this particular cross section, right? So this cross section it may fail because it is having a slot over here, so this cross section becomes weakest. And if you can see over here, this is the red portion, this is the area resisting the failure in tension. Okay, so what is the area? If I draw this particular diagram, cross sectional diagram, which is showing the area resisting tension, area resisting tensile forces. So this is a cross sectional area. What this diameter we are saying, this diameter is nothing but a d2, that is diameter of the spigot. We are designing the spigot, this is the diameter d2, indicated by d2, and if I consider this, then this area is nothing but this is d2, and this slot, this slot will be T, right? This slot will be T. So if I considered a cross sectional area if I consider a cross sectional area, or I can say the area resisting tension, then I can find out what is the area which is resisting the tension. Okay, so here I can write down area, or I will just say resisting area, which is resisting the failure in tension, is equal to pi by 4 d square. Okay, from that I have to subtract this particular region, because here there is no material, and that region is nothing but d2 into, sorry, d2 into d2 into t, right? So what I can say, as we know, area A is equal to force upon sigma t, that is the self tensile stress. So I can write it down like that: pi by 4 d square minus d2 into pi by 4 d2 square. Okay, d2 square. Uh, d2 square minus d2 into t is equal to p upon sigma t. Now if I consider this particular equation, how many variables are there which are not known? So what are the variables which are known to us? Is p is known, sigma t is known, then uh, but here d2 is not known and t is also not known. So there are two variables and it becomes actually a quadratic equation. This becomes a quadratic equation. Now there are two variables, that is d2 is and d2 and t. These are the two variables which are not known. So obviously you can solve the quadratic equation and you can find out the value of d2 and t. But if there is a easier way, we can move further, that is failure of rod or the cutter in crushing. Okay, so what we are having, actually we are having a cutter. If you can see over here, there is a cutter like this, and this is inserted into the slot, and we are pulling from this direction and this direction. Because of that, if you consider this particular cross sectional area, this cotter pin is going to rub to this particular area, and because of there is a crushing, and because of this, rod may fail or our spigot may fail in crushing, or cotter pin may fail in crushing. So what is the area which is resisting this type of failure? That is resisting area. If I draw this particular resisting area, you can see over here, this resisting area is nothing but like this. Okay, which is having a thickness t slot, and this is nothing but diameter d2, that is diameter of spigot. So I can write down resisting area A is equal to d2 into t. So we know, as we know, area A is equal to P force divided by, now what permissible stress I will consider? Sigma C, that is we are considering the failure in crushing, and that's why A is equal to P by sigma C. And as we know, D2 into T is equal to P upon sigma C. Now if I can say this is equation 3, and d2 into t. If you look at equation number 2, here there is a term d2 into t. So if I replace this d2 into t is equal to p by sigma c into equation 2, this equation becomes pi by 4 d2 square minus d2 into t is nothing but p by sigma c is equal to p by sigma t. Now, if we look at this particular equation, how many things are known? P is known to me, sigma t is known to me, then sigma c is known, okay, p is known. So only variable which is not known is a d2. So from this we can find out, or we can determine value of d2. D2 is what? That is diameter of spigot. We are determining diameter of the spigot. So once you got the diameter of spigot from this is the safe diameter which can withstand the given forces. And if I put this value into equation 2, that is d2 is known. Now d2 is known, p is known, rho c, and d2 is known. Now what I can find out the value of t. So from this we can determine value of t, that is thickness of quarter, or we can say it is again the thickness of the slot thickness, and the quarter thickness will be same. Generally whatever this value of t is being there, that is generally given as d2 by 4. This relation is followed if or we can say this is an empirical relation. Let it be. So in this way we can find out the value of t, that is the thickness of the quarter. Now again we will consider the next failure, that is failure of spigot collar in crushing. Now whatever this spigot is there, it is having a collar, okay, and this collar is being rubbed against the collar of the socket, and because of that, as there will be the forces over the this p and p, this may be tensile, this may be compressive, and because of this particular region, this will be the crushing. If you see over here, these are the red portion, this is the red portion which is resisting the crushing, right? So again we have to find out what is the area which is resisting crushing, or we can say resisting area. Resisting area A is equal to what this area is. So it is nothing but the resisting area. If I draw this resisting area over here, so you can find this is nothing but d3, that is diameter of the collar. This is nothing but d2, that is diameter of the spigot, okay, and this particular area is resisting the crushing. So I can write down area resisting the crushing is equal to pi by 4 d3 square minus d2 square, right? So this is the area which is resisting crushing. So as we know, area A is equal to P divided by sigma C, because we are considering the failure in crushing, so permissible. crushing stress, and it is nothing but pi by 4 d3 square minus d2 square is equal to p by sigma c. Now if we consider this particular equation, what is known, p is known, sigma c is known, d2 we just find out. So and value of d3 can be determined for the uh, from this particular equation. And what is this d3? It is nothing but the diameter of the collar of the spigot. So from this equation we can determine value of d3, that is diameter of spigot collar. Right. So here again one more dimension we find, and this is obviously this will be the safe dimension, and there will be no crushing failure if you put that particular dimension. Again we will consider another type of failure, and this failure is called as a failure of the spigot collar in shearing. Okay, failure of the spigot collar in shearing. So what is spigot collar in failure of spigot collar in shearing is, and what is the resisting area? What mean by shearing? What way may happen as we are applying the forces P, and there is this particular collar, and this collar may come out or it may turn out and it may come out. Okay, so because of that what may happen, देयर इज अ फेल्यूर इन शेयरिंग, एक कॉलर जो है वो टूट जाएगी और बाहर आ जाएगी. सो व्हाट दिस इज कॉल्ड एज एन शेयरिंग. एंड व्हाट इज द एरिया रेजिस्टिंग टू दिस? ओके, what area resisting to this? If I can draw the diagram, and if this, क्योंकि ये जो है ये जो D3 है diameter, this is the diameter of the spigot collar, and this is nothing but D2, that is diameter of the spigot. So if I draw this particular section, so I come to know this is nothing but D3 and this is nothing but D2. Okay, and if we look at this particular collar, it is something like this. Okay, so whenever, and this is a D, whenever it comes come out, this is the area, or we can say this is the thickness T. What we are considering, this is a T1, thickness T1. Okay, so the area resisting, or we can say the resisting area, which is going to resisting the shear failure, A is nothing but pi d2 into T. Why pi d2 into T? Because whatever this area is there, that we are going to consider, that is the circumference multiplied by T, thickness, and that is the resisting area. And that's why if I know, as we know, A is equal to P upon, as this is a failure in shear, which stress we are going to use? Tau, that is shear stress, permissible shear stress. And that's what I can say, pi d2 into T is equal to P upon tau. If we look at this particular equation, what is known to us and what is not known? P is known, tau is known, and D2 we find out. So what we can get from this? We can get the thickness T1, thickness, just a minute. we are saying thickness T1. Okay, so from this we can determine value of T1, that is thickness of spigot collar. Okay, so we have determined the thickness of spigot collar. Now again we will move to the next type of failure, that is failure of rod end in shear. Okay, now if we consider this particular spigot, and here in this spigot there is a cotter pin like this, and as we are pulling from this side and this side, this cotter pin may try to come out from this slot, from this area it may come out. Okay, and because of that the middle portion, which is the weaker portion, this may come out, and there may be sharing over there. So that is the area which is resisting. If I draw, it can look like this. It is going to look like this, and this is the area which is going to resist this type of failure. Is it the only area? No. The backside area means this area is again going to resist. So that would what we are calling it as a double shear or failure in the double shear. So what are this dimension? This dimension is nothing but this is equal to the diameter of the spigot, that is D2, and this we are considering as, I think we are saying it A. Okay, we will just look what later we assign to it. Yes, A, distance from end of slot to the end of rod, that is this A. Mm, okay, yes, so that is what we are going to consider A. So area resisting area A is equal to what? D2 into A, but it is in double shear, that is equal and opposite area. From the opposite side is also resisting the failure in shear, that is area backside, that is this particular portion. ये जो पीछे का एरिया है, this area is again participating in resisting the shear, and that's why we are saying 2 into d2 into a, and that's why, as we know, a is equal to p divided by tau, that is failure in shear, and we are saying 2 multiplied by d2 into a is equal to p upon tau. And from this, if we look at this particular equation, what is known? P is known, tau is known, d2 is known. So what value we are going to get? That is value of A. So we can determine value of A, that is distance from end of slot to end of rod, that is this particular distance we find out just now. This is A, end of slot to end of rod, this distance we determined. Okay, and this here actually this distance is less, then what may happen? It may shear out, this particular portion may shear out and it may come out. Okay, so that is what failure of the quarter inch here. Okay, so up till now we have find out all the dimensions and we completed the design of the spigot. So spigot is ready now, and now we are going to find out the design quarter. Now quarter is actually having a three dimensions: length, breadth and thickness. Thickness we already find out. So length, that is having a empirical relations that can be decided because it actually do not have any role in the failure. And obviously width we have to find out. So we are considering the failure of the quarter in shear. So if you consider this particular quarter, we know there are the forces in this direction, and as the socket will be pulled in this direction and spigot will be pulled in the opposite direction, and all the load will be taken by this particular quarter. So this quarter may shear out and there will be a shear. If you can see this particular diagram over here, so you can see here there is a failure, and whatever the resisting area, red area is shown, that is the area resisting. So if I draw this resisting area, you came to know what is this actually. This is the thickness T and this is the width B. So resisting area, if I say this resisting area is nothing but B into T, and as there are the two cross sectional double shear, that's why we are saying 2, because two cross sectional areas are there, we are resisting it. As we know, A is equal to P by, as it is a failure in shear, that's why tau, and we are saying that is 2 into B into T is equal to P by tau. So if we look at this particular equation, what is known and what is unknown. So P is known, tau is known, then thickness T is known. From this we can find out the value of B. So from this equation we can determine value of B, that is width of quarter. Okay, so that is what this width B we find out. So thickness T we already find out, and width B. So here we completed designing of the quarter also. Okay, so that is what we considered. Now we are shifting our focus on the designing of the socket and failure of the socket in tension across the slot. As we know, this is a socket and we are applying the forces P, so it may fail, and it may fail at the weakest section. Where is the weakest section? Where there is a slot. So area resisting, again we are finding out same principle we are using, resisting area, and then we know, as we know, that is stress is equal to force upon cross sectional area. The same formula we are using. We just have to find identify what area is resisting the particular type of failure. Okay, so resisting area, resisting area. Here if I draw the diagram, it looks like, if you can look at this red portion, okay, this is like this, then it is like this. The small diameter is nothing but D2, that is internal diameter of the socket, or we can say diameter of the spigot. This will be equal, and this is nothing but D1, that is diameter of the socket, right? And here what we are having, actually we are having a slots over here. So this is the area which is resisting. right? So area resisting A is equal to pi by 4 d1 square minus d2 square minus, and this is nothing but thickness T, right, minus d1 minus d2 into T. So this is the area, and as we know, area A is equal to P upon, and failure is in tension. That's why I am saying sigma T. So pi by 4 d1 square minus d2 square minus d1 minus d2 into T is equal to P divided by sigma T, right? If we look at this specific equation, what is known, P is known, sigma T is known, d2 we already find out, T we know, and what is the unknown? Only one variable is unknown, that is d1. So from this equation we can determine value of d1, that is external, or I can say outer diameter of socket, that is this d1. Okay, so here we have find out the outer diameter. Now failure of the socket color in crushing. Now what we are considering, if you look at this particular slot, this slot here, again there is cotter pin, cotter pin is there inserted into this. Okay, and when this cotter pin will be pulled at this particular portion, that is this specific portion which is shown red here, there will be the crushing and there may be a failure because of crushing. So if I draw the resisting area, this resisting area will look like this is d d4, I think. Okay, we will just see what later we assign to it, diameter of the collar of socket. Okay, so yes, this is d4. You can see over here, this is d4. So we will go over here and we will see. Okay, d4, and this is the internal diameter, that is d2, right? So the area resisting crushing is this much, and there is a hole inside, and that hole is nothing but equal to diameter of the spigot, and that's why that much for, and there is a no material over there, area resisting area. If I say resisting area A is equal to, what is resisting area is, and thickness is how much, T. So resisting area is D4 minus D2 multiplied by T. So we know area A is equal to P divided by sigma C, that is crushing stress, and that's why D4 minus D2 multiplied by T is equal to P by sigma C. And if we look at this particular equation, what is known and which is the variable which is unknown to us, P is known, P is known, sigma C is known, T is known, D2 is known. So from this we can determine value of D4. What this is, that is diameter of collar of socket. Okay, so we got the diameter, this diameter d4. Okay, so this is for diameter d4 we got. Now we will consider failure of socket end in shearing. Okay, so what will happen, this, because of the quarter, this quarter will be push, and this quarter will try to come out, and this quarter will try to come out by shearing the socket end, by shearing this socket end or the collar end, and it may come out. So this is the weakest section, and because of that, here again there are the chances of failure of socket end in shearing. So what is the area resisting? You can see the red portion is the area resisting, and obviously again here there is a double shear, that is from both sides. So if I draw the diagram over here, so it will look like this. It will look like this. So here this is nothing but, this is the external diameter d4, this portion is nothing but, this is the internal diameter d2. Okay, and this is the area which is resisting. So here, and this particular portion is nothing but, I think what we call this as a thickness C or D. Let us check over here what letter we assign to it. C. Okay, this is the C, that is the thickness of the collar of socket. So this is C, right? So this is area, again this is in double shear. So what area? Resisting area. Resisting area A is equal to d4 minus d2 into C. d4 minus d2 into C. So we will get this, and we know area A is equal to P by uh, tau as failure in shear, that is d4 minus d2 into C is equal to P by tau. So if we consider this particular equation, you came to know what is known to us. P is known, tau is known, d2 is known, d4 we just find out. So unknown is C, and we can determine the value of C. So from this equation we can value of C, that is thickness of thickness of thickness of collar of socket. Okay, so this thickness C we determined over here, so we can find out the thickness C. Now nearly most of the things we have found out. The last one, that is failure of socket at rod end initial. Okay, if I consider if this is the E, because now here there is a certain thickness at the end of the socket, there is a certain thickness, and then the rod is attached over here. Okay, the diameter of this rod is D. Now when it will be pulled, it may try to come out, and there may be a shear over here. Okay, so this shear, now it depends on what diameter D and how much material is there. If the material is very less, it may come out. So this portion, if this material E is I considered E, so actually this is the resisting area. Okay, and diameter is actually a D, and this portion if I say C, so resisting area which is resisting shear failure is pi d, that is circumference multiplied by this particular E. Okay, that is its length or the quantity of material which it is having. And as we know, A is equal to P divided by shearing, that's why tau. So pi into pi into d into E is equal to P by tau. If we look at this particular equation, we what is known, P is no P is known, tau is known, D is known. We already find out in the very first stage. So value of E can be determined. So here value of E, that is how much material we need to put over there, so that there should not be failure of the socket end because of shear, that can be determined. So this is the way by which we can design the socket and the spigot cutter joint. Obviously, first of all we will start from the spigot, then we will design the cutter, and lastly we will design the socket. So in this way we can design and we can make a safe socket and spigot joint for given loading condition and given material. Okay, so thank you very much.